How's it going, everyone? Mel Markey coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Time in the Batman by Grant Morrison. Let's get into it. Batman. Time of the Batman comprises issues of Batman 700 through 703. The first issue covered is Batman 700 by Grant Morrison and a whole bunch of artists. It states that it's a case that spans many decades and many Batman. I'm gonna be honest with you guys here. I don't really want to spoil this one for you. It's a landmark issue, Batman 700. It'll never happen again. It is from the first volume of Batman, so it makes it that much more significant. 13 issues later, they canceled that volume and start the new 52. So this one is special, and it's a mystery that you're supposed to solve as you're reading it. The book dares you. Can you solve the case before it's revealed to you, by Batman? So, with that in mind, I'm not going to do the usual breakdown here for 700. I'll just give you my thoughts on it. Really, upon rereading the issue, I was disappointed. I was like, that's it. But I guess having read further on now into the Return of Bruce Wayne miniseries, I guess 700 does set up the character of like Dr. Carter Nichols and his time machine, maybe machines that sort of come out of left field and Batman Return of Bruce Wayne. I don't remember if he was mentioned prior to this. I think this was his introduction. I don't know. But 700 really sets him up. So I guess that's just like one saving grace. Otherwise, it's just complete throwaway. I mean, sure, it's cool to see, Bruce and Dick Robin and go to Dick Batman with Damian Robin. And then Batman Beyond is in here, of course. But that's after the Damian Robin returns. And then it shows Batman's like all the way into the years 3000, saying there's always going to be a need for Batman. There's always going to be a Batman. And again, kind of hinting at, Batman Incorporated, which is yet to come in the Batman timeline here, where there's always going to be a need for Batman and a Batman, everywhere, right? So, 700 sort of sets the stage for that as well. As far as the mystery of the issue is concerned, I'll be straight up. I didn't solve it. I was reading along, trying to, put it together, but it's just one of those reveals that it's like, oh, really? Of course. Of course. But I guess you'll have to see what I mean when you read it yourself. Now, it's these next two issues, Batman 701 and 702, that comprise R.I.P., the missing chapters, that are supposed to explain, what happened to Batman, how he lived, and all that stuff. Let's get into it. Batman 701, R.I.P. The Missing Chapters, Part 1, The Hole in Things. Batman is shown surviving the helicopter crash that he and Dr. Hurt had at the end of Batman R.I.P., where Batman was presumed dead. But not really, because he went on to go, Final Crisis. But that's a whole other thing. So it shows Batman, he swims ashore, and he meets up with that young prostitute, Ellie, who he ended up giving a job back in the beginning of, I want to say it was Batman and Son, now that I'm thinking about it. He gave her the card and sent her to Wayne Enterprises. She became like a receptionist. And so she sees Batman on the shore. He's washed up or whatever. And she goes to check on him. He's like, don't worry about me. I'm Batman. I'll be fine. So Batman makes it to the Batcave. Alfred makes him his favorite soup. Which, I don't know if it's a real soup. I kind of want to try it. Just to see what Batman's favorite soup is. But that's neither here nor there. Batman immediately takes out the bat sub and he heads back to the harbor, searching the wreckage of the helicopter, because he's got to find Dr. Hurt's body. Of course, there's no body to be found. Classic. And we're seeing Batman, he's recuperating, and he's wondering to himself how Dr. Hurt found a secret room in the mansion that Bruce's parents vowed to Bruce that he should never go into or whatever. He wondered how he found that out, because it's a secret, and maybe it means that he's sort of somehow telling the truth, that he knows more about the Waynes. And so we get a scene here of an angry Bruce. The newspaper had come out tarnishing the Waynes' legacy. We see Bruce's reaction to it, and let's just say he's not pleased. Superman contacts Batman, lets Batman know that someone just killed a god. Oh no. And of course, Bruce, well, I don't know if this is out of character or not, but he's really concerned about what Dr. Simon Hurt said Because Hurt said, if you recall, the next time you put on the cowl will be your last. And here's Batman. He's got the cowl in his hands. He's going to investigate who killed the god. And he's hesitant. He's like, is he right? Is he telling the truth? Is he the devil? Well, anyway, Batman puts the cowl on. And he goes to investigate. And the events of Final Crisis happen. And we all know what went down there. So that's the end of the first issue. So we get to Batman 702. Batman tells the Justice League that this is a bullet that was like sent back in time or whatever. For this reread, I did not read Final Crisis. I really sort of regret that now because this is a really Final Crisis heavy issue, which is why I don't really care about it. As I was reading it, I was like, Final Crisis stuff, like as you'll see here, Alpha Lantern Kraken incapacitates Bruce, and that's how Bruce ends up in the hands of Dr. Simeon when they make all those Bruce clones. And one of those clones, of course, ends up being the body, that Dick Grayson throws into the Lazarus pit over in England. Right, so we see how all that goes down. Batman escapes. He shoots Darkseid. Darkseid sends him back in time with the Omega Beam Sanction Blast, whatever it's called, Alpha Super Edition. And we see Batman. He emerges in like caveman era Gotham, and he goes into the Bat Cave, or the caves that would become the Bat Cave, and he scrawls a bat symbol, hieroglyphic on the wall, and that ends the issue. Like I said, with it being like mostly Final Crisis, a lot of it was just like whatever. But at least now we know the missing chapters, right? Totally crucial stuff. Not a cash grab. Batman 703. Not written by Grant Morrison. Doesn't really tie in much. The only thing noteworthy of this issue is Damian yells out that he revels in excrement or whatever when he and Dick Batman are in the sewers trying to track down some killer whose name I already forgot. Because I didn't write no notes about the issue. Because it didn't tie in. They just shoved it in here, I guess, to pad out the length of the trade. Totally forgettable. Whatever. As you guys could probably surmise from my tone of voice in the review of this issue or whatever, didn't really care for this volume, like, at all. 700, in my opinion, it was enjoyable. Great anniversary issue. A lot of fun. Tying into Bat history and stuff. But as far as, like, Grant Morrison's run or whatever, irrelevant. 701, 702, RIP to missing chapters. In my opinion, they could have stayed missing. Didn't really learn anything. Oh, Batman swims to shore and he searches for Hurt's body at the wreck helicopter. And there's a bunch of Final Crisis BS. Whatever. Totally skippable. And again, the tacked on 703 to pad out the trade length. Just a one-shot, nothing issue. This is definitely the low point of my Grant Morrison reread here. Gonna have to give it a 3 out of 5. I know. I'm sorry to do it. I hate to do it. But if you're someone who's following along with this video series and you're buying these, I would say you could skip this one. Irrelevant. It's just really you're just buying the anniversary issue 700 at a higher price. Like it's being so yeah, 3 out of 5. Time of the Batman. Don't really recommend it. But then again, maybe I'm stupid and I missed something crucial, which I doubt. So until next time, I'll see you there.